Okay, so we're diving deep today, really deep into a world that I think a lot of our listeners are familiar with in one way or another.
Right.
But we're going to kind of look under the hood of the side hustle economy, specifically in New York City. And you know, we've got some really fun material to work with here.
Yeah.
An article actually that highlights some of the weirdest jobs
Yes.
in New York City.
Some very creative ways to make money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be really interesting for our listeners to kind of get a grasp of what it really takes to make it in one of the most expensive...
To survive.
To survive.
The city that never sleeps.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I guess, first of all, right off the bat, this article really kind of hits home that in New York, a side hustle isn't just some sort of trendy thing. It's kind of a necessity.
It's a way of life.
Yeah, it's woven into the fabric of the city.
The cost of living is so high, you almost have to have a side hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's almost...
It's more remarkable if you don't.
I know it is.
To me, that's fascinating. Like, oh, you just have one job.
I know.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Good for you.
Yeah. So, the article, you know, kind of paints this picture of, you know, the barista who's also a screenwriter.
Yes.
Or the fashion intern who moonlights as a dog walker.
Yeah.
Or even the DJ who's like a brand consultant on the side. It's like everyone has these multiple
hats
that they're wearing.
It's I think that goes to, you know, supporting one's dreams.
Yes.
In New York City.
Yes.
Right? Like you have your passion.
Yes.
You know, you want to be a screenwriter, but you need to pay the rent, so you're going to be a barista or whatever.
Right.
Or you want to be an actor.
Yeah.
But you got to do something else to bring in money while you're going to auditions.
Right.
And that's, I mean, I think it's part of the romanticism of New York. You know,
Yes, absolutely. And it kind of also speaks to how these seemingly unrelated gigs can actually help to further someone's bigger career aspirations.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, you know, the income from dog walking might provide the stability to, you know, take those acting classes or go to those auditions.
Right.
Or even like, you know, a DJ gains experience by understanding audience dynamics, which could be super helpful in brand consulting.
Crowd work is crowd work. Whether you're, you know, doing stand-up or, you know,
spinning records
or giving a presentation.
Yes.
There's some overlap.
Totally. Yeah. So, but let's get to the really interesting part here.
Okay.
The weird side hustles that the article talks about.
They're fun stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, we're not talking about, you know, your typical driving for Uber or, you know, delivering food.
Yeah, we're going way beyond that.
Way beyond.
Yeah.
So, for example, they talk about professional line sitters.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that?
That's fascinating to me because time is money in New York.
Yeah.
So someone's willing to pay $40 an hour.
I know.
For you to stand in line for them.
I know.
For the new iPhone or whatever it is.
I find that so fascinating.
Yeah. And it speaks to, you know, I think the fear of missing out.
Yes.
Is a big part of New York.
Yeah, totally. And then, okay, so then there's the luxury dog party planner.
Oh, my God.
In Brooklyn.
The dog cakes?
I know.
The little photo booths?
I know.
The outfits?
Isn't that wild?
It's so funny.
And people are spending hundreds of dollars on these parties for their dogs.
But, you know, it's like New Yorkers, they love their dogs.
They do.
And if you have the disposable income, why not?
Why not?
You know, I mean, it's
Absolutely.
It's all about, you know, creating those memories and
maybe it's a little bit of a status symbol too, you know,
Yeah,
like look, I can afford
to throw a party.
To throw a party for my dog.
My dog.
Yeah. Okay, so then there are the ghost tour actors.
Oh, yeah.
Leading people through like the village and stuff.
I love
Through
that.
the lanterns.
It's such a quintessential New York thing.
It is. Like when you think of New York, you think of like, you know, someone in like a top hat.
Yes, and a cape.
And a cape with a lantern.
And a lantern leading you through.
And they're all actors probably that are like, you know,
trying
off Broadway.
Yes.
Or, you know.
Exactly.
It's a great way to, you know,
practice your craft.
Practice your craft and, you know,
make some money.
Make some money.
Yeah. And then, okay, for anyone who's ever lived in New York, this one I think is going to resonate.
Okay.
The professional closet organizer.
Oh, yeah.
Because
tiny closets.
Tiny closets.
Yeah.
So the article talks about this as being like a form of therapy.
Right.
And a way to maximize space.
Yeah.
Which we all know is at a premium.
Yeah. If you can make my closet twice as big
I know.
just by reorganizing it. Yeah.
Magician.
You're a genius.
Yeah. Okay, this next one. I don't know if I could do this.
What is it?
The human billboard on the subway.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
I mean, you're basically a walking advertisement. You're like a sandwich board,
I know.
but
I
on
know.
the MTA.
I know. And like,
Yeah.
to me, it just seems like so invasive,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but I guess, you know,
The advertiser, it's great.
yeah,
Like,
you're
it's
hitting a captive audience, a
Exactly.
huge audience,
And it's probably way cheaper than,
putting up a
a
billboard.
real billboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this one is a little bit more low-key.
Okay.
The laundry folding specialist.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of this?
I have.
So there are all these apps now connecting people
Right.
who just don't want to fold their laundry
Right.
with people who are willing to do it.
Yeah. And I think that makes perfect sense in a city like New York
I know.
because a lot of people don't have
Laundry in their apartment.
laundry in their apartment.
They have to go to a laundromat.
Exactly.
And then you got to like lug it back,
I know.
fold it.
And who has time for that?
Nobody.
So this is like a perfect solution.
Right.
Yeah. And then the last one,
Okay.
this is interesting. The Muralists for Airbnb hosts.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of a clever one, I think.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because you want to make your Airbnb
Stand out. Yeah.
Instagrammable.
Yeah.
So you hire someone to come in and like paint a mural.
Right. And if it leads to more bookings,
Exactly.
it's
So
win-win.
then it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like what is it about New York that makes this whole side hustle thing so
Protect.
I think the article really hits on it.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, just the sheer number of people.
Right.
Right?
And the density.
You're constantly bumping into people.
Yeah.
So if you have a service,
Yeah.
there's a good chance you're going to run into someone who needs that service.
Right. Just by proximity.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's also just the huge diversity of industries in New York.
Yes.
You've got finance, you've got fashion, you've got tech, the
Arts, hospitality.
everything.
Everything.
So that creates all these different opportunities.
These little niches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, New York is a city that never sleeps.
Right.
So there's always this need for,
24/7.
24/7
Yeah.
hustle and bustle.
Right.
And of course, you can't deny the fact that it's expensive
Yes.
to live in New York.
That's a huge motivator.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Necessity is the mother of invention.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the money either.
Yeah.
These side hustles allow people to network,
Yeah.
to meet new people,
Learn new skills.
learn new skills,
Yeah.
to kind of like increase their visibility.
Right. You never know who you're going to meet.
I know.
Walking a dog in Central Park.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the article also talks about how sometimes these side hustles can turn into
The main hustle.
the main hustle.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the dream.
Yeah. What are some of the ways that happens?
Well, I think the article lays out kind of like a roadmap.
Yeah.
The first stage is testing the market.
Okay.
Start small.
Right.
See if there's interest.
Right.
Like if you make jewelry, maybe you sell it to your friends.
Right.
Or, if you're an editor, maybe you do some work for people you know.
Yeah.
Just to kind of
See your feet wet.
get your feet wet.
Yeah.
And then if it starts to take off,
Yeah.
you start to build a client base.
Okay.
Word
Word of mouth.
of mouth,
Social media.
social media,
Yeah.
Instagram.
Instagram DMs.
Yeah. Or, maybe you even go old school and use Craigslist,
Oh, wow.
And then, as you start to get more clients,
Right.
you have to get better.
Yeah.
You have to sharpen your skills.
Yeah.
So you start to develop a portfolio.
Right.
You start to learn how to price your work appropriately.
Right.
And you just get better at what you do.
Yeah.
And then I think the most important part is finding your niche.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
What is that thing that you're really passionate about?
Yeah.
That people are willing to pay for.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where you can really turn it into,
A full-time gig.
yeah, your main source of income.
Yeah. And the article talks about how, a lot of New Yorkers have done this successfully.
Right.
They've taken their side hustle and turned it into
It's their main hustle.
their main hustle.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap things up here,
Okay.
it's clear that side hustles in New York City,
It's more than just making extra money.
it's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
Yeah.
It's part of the culture.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really inspiring to see how people are using their creativity and their resilience to make it
Yes.
in such a challenging and expensive city. Yeah. And it shows that, there's always a way
Yeah.
if you're willing to put in the work
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And be resourceful.
and be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the takeaway for our listeners is...
What's your side hustle?
What's your side hustle?
Yeah. What's that thing you're good at?
Yeah.
What's that thing you love to do?
Yeah.
That you could turn into...
Into some income.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't have to be in New York City. This can apply anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody has something.
Everyone has a skill.
Yeah.
Everyone has a talent that they could potentially monetize.
Absolutely.
And, who knows? Maybe it'll even turn into your
main hustle.
Your main hustle.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you have it.
That's our deep dive into the side hustle economy of New York City.
Hope you enjoyed it.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See ya.
Bye.